vacation, so it'll be good.
Vic?
I think it's out of Anderson. Like my first 3 weeks are out of Anderson.
Yay!
Yeah.
I love that. I was just gonna ask you what you're doing next week, but it's funny, you said, I remember you said you were on spare boards.
Yeah, I'll find out later today.
You might do like a split with the routes though, do 3 days on one, 2 days on the other.
Well, I put bids in for a weekly bid, so I should get something for next week that I'll have for a whole week.
I'm praying you don't get the 148.
Yeah, no, I didn't bid on that. I bid on like a 9 and what else? 23.
I hear the 23 is getting better since they extended it to self-help and they put bus lanes.
Yeah, those bus lanes make it so much better.
This is a 19 too, year model, right?
Maybe. I can't really. The thing is up here. So I can't see it.
When we're stopped.
Yeah,
You need an old D40 LF to get you back on time. If you had a bus out of Anderson on this route 12 minutes late, no problem. You would make your time up.
yeah, maybe. It's all those university kids, you know, and they all scan one by one. It takes forever, you know?
I was expecting your Route 8 to be busy anyway when I first got on it. I just didn't know how much. I felt the bus getting really heavy with all the people on it. If your airbag blows, I can't blame you for that. Did you get any Vic Park work as well?
Yeah, I got a little bit of work.
Oh God.
I know. There's some weeks there was lots, and other weeks it was just like there's nothing here.
You know what? I could meet you at 78th Avenue and it's not that bad.
No, that's not bad.
I don't like the downtown part on the 2.
I don't like the 17-mile part. Yeah.
That hut there, oh my God, that little bus shelter, there's so much. It's so sketchy at that stop.
Yeah, it's pretty busy there
I was actually downtown last night, down Stephen Avenue with a group.
Oh, what were you guys doing?
We just did a walk in a winter wonderland, that was the program. Then we went to OJ's and had some appies. The one thing about downtown though, a lot of spots aren't very accessible for me.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, I was thinking that OJ's is kind of different level, right?
Right.
Yeah.
It's a nice downtown restaurant though.
Pretty good. The menu's actually pretty good. Like, it's quite a bit on there.
I had their hand-cut fries, their poutine,
Yeah.
and their fries are delicious. Well, they're hand-cut, that makes all the
Yeah,
difference.
exactly. They're not like frozen.
They need to give you like at least 6 minutes each time you get back, or 10 minutes,
Yeah.
just like the other.
Yep.
Because there was another 8 right behind you because you were late.
Yeah, like they give you all the time when you don't need it. You know what I mean? And then when you need it, they take it all away.
I'm hearing there's gonna be changes to the 14 next sign up, so I'm not sure if they're adjusting timing or... It needs more time on it. Like when you did it out of Vic Park, we sat at the hospital for like 6-7 minutes. When you took me when you were out of VP, we had a few minutes to sit, not anymore. I don't think oh, this is a time point, right? Yeah. Did you get Max Tail?
No Max Tail, no Max Tail.
You know what? Those routes are very popular. A lot of the really veteran guys will take it right away. No Max Purple, I hope you didn't get that one.
No, thanks. I learned my lesson on that one. Not my favorite.
You know what? The Chestermere part I think is pretty interesting though. What they do, 2 trips, they have an Arctic that comes in the morning, and then they have a single unit. So 2 trips morning, 2 trips at night. That's the only kicker. If I wanted to do it, I would have to get the other one back and know where to get off, so I get the other one back, right?
Yeah, maybe someday it'll be just an all-day kind of bus, you know?
Because you'll be surprised, a few people do go out there when transit provides it.
Yeah.
They're on the bus.
Yeah.
I don't think you would have to run it on the weekends though.
No.
Then again, who knows? The week.
Well, as long as it keeps growing.
How late did you end up all night long? 12 minutes late or?
At the most it was like 15, and then on average probably, yeah, like 10 or 12 minutes.
And that's something you can't help, right?
So there's nothing you can do.
And you boot are pretty good, right? So,
Yeah, and the roads were, they're getting better, so.
oh well, the roads were bad too.
Yeah, but they're getting better, right? So now you can like,
On Tuesday, I saw friends that I haven't seen for over 3 years, so it was nice. But they just took me to their house. But man, just to be outside for 5 minutes going in and out, I brought my big winter jacket, hat and gloves. But I was walking, so I had to have my gloves off because I need to have grip, right?
and then just like that, it's like -2 or whatever, like the next day.
It was like -1 when I woke up.
Yeah,
With feels like temperature of -6, but there's barely no wind.
no wind.
I haven't heard from George in so long. I emailed him in the summer,
Oh yeah.
but you know him.
Yeah.
He's constantly on the run.
You should email him again and just let him know, say Merry Christmas, hope you're doing well.
Yeah. So when you get all your work, do you know what you're doing day in and day out once they give you the work?
Like for next
Like for next week, do they give you the whole thing?
Yeah, because it's just
Yeah.
a weekly sort of thing.
But if you were a junior, you wouldn't have that luxury, right?
Well, no, because they can't really get any weekly bids because all of us seniors take all the weekly bids. Your badge.
What is it now?
Well, you know what my current badge is, right? Here?
I forgot.
Okay, it's 853.
Yeah.
So take a guess where I'm at.
I would say you could have went up 75 to 100 spots.
801 is what I got.
Oh, if you would have said 811, 11's my lucky number.
Yeah, 801. So 52 spots.
That's pretty a pretty good climb.
It's not bad. I thought it would be slightly better.
I imagine George's badge was
Oh, he was like in the double digits, I think.
like 15 or something. You can't lay him off though.
No.
You must have been afraid of getting laid off when this all started.
No, I knew I was okay. Because they had, there was quite a few things beneath me. I wasn't afraid.
But I imagine for the junior guys that just I'm seeing a lot of training going on.
Yeah, every day.
Even on the train, I see like, for example, I see an old U2 car out, but it's being used for training, just a single car.
Yep. Yeah, they're all over.
It's funny how the old equipment gets used for the training.
Yep.
Like 50 to 60% of the time, they bring out a U2 car. It's never a new car that they use for training. It's always an old. Well, I'm assuming that would make sense though, because our old cars are so much different compared to our new ones. I don't imagine the U2s are liking the cold too much when it was cold. And they're so cold in the winter. So you got 1 or 2 Stony Keys this sign up, right?
Yeah, I think I have like 2.
Imagine if you had to all take Stony.
Oh, no thanks. I was hoping I wouldn't have to take any Stony at all, but
You know what the thing about Stony is? If you want to switch it up once in a while, it's a bit of a change up, right? But then again, you're so far, right? From your house to North Point, it's like 45 minutes. I imagine you have to leave an hour before you start work. You have to take the 161 up to North Point, right? Your takeover, right?
I could leave later, but if something happens on Deerwood, where you're stuck in traffic.
Oh, don't even get me. I call it hell foot.
Yeah, it's terrible.
I had too much iced tea last night, and I paid for it. The caffeine, right? I was kind of up all night. I had 3 big tall glasses, I knew I shouldn't have had the third one. But I was in the mood for it, that's the thing, right? God, the trains were busy yesterday night. I wasn't on it, but I saw them going by. But there was a Flames game last night, and then you have that combined with work and school. So during the Christmas break, I may come and see you on the 75, a nice quiet.
Yeah, I'm actually kind of looking forward to that.
You know why I'm looking forward to it? That highway part. I'll just give you 78.15 every day, the extra noisy bus. Have fun on that 87. You probably won't see me that way.
No, you have to come visit me. We gotta do it together.
I could get you. You stop by Circle K, don't you?
Yeah, you can come there.
Yeah. When you took it, you're like, oh no, right?
Yeah.
Were you gonna take something else?
There was nothing else. And then I went and talked to them, and I was like, I actually don't want this. They were like, too bad, you have to take it. I was like, oh, okay.
You probably would have rather the Stony Key rather than that.
Well, definitely,
But you know what? My driver friend Sherry, she's another driver. She works out of Spring. She does just a half an hour scamper, like a half an hour little thing. She's a rush hour bus for the kids. It's basically from Applewood to Marlborough, and it's not a whole trip. It's just she's in service at a certain point, then out of service at Marlborough. She said the 87's not that bad. Is it just like you're just doing the 87? Because I know there's sign-ups where you do the 87, then you turn into the 67.
Yeah, I don't know. I didn't look at it actually. I didn't look at anything, but I just looked at the actual.
Because they have that where you intervene between the two routes.
I need to go through the books because they'll show the running board for all.
Because on 67, you don't go back to Applewood. You go, I think, to Memorial and somewhere.
Okay. Well, like it used to be, you would do, it was the 45 and you go Abbeydale, Applewood. Abbeydale, Applewood. So I don't know if it's the same, but they just changed the numbers or what.
Yeah, I think that's now 67. 45 is no longer existent.
Yeah, it's gone,
You know that lady who does the 402? She gets way too much time on it. That's what I don't like about it.
yeah.
Like, if you're doing the 14, you see her sitting there, right, for like 12 minutes. I'm hoping she can get... Well, then again, during rush hour, it's good, eh? You can take all the time you need. I'm hoping we don't quit today. tires are really good on this. And I never thought you would say that about a Nova. It's the older ones you're not. Oh, speaking of Nova, we're getting more in soon. 8490 to 8521. So we're gonna get up in the 85s now. I checked transit websites and they have a page posted up, so they're getting them ready. They're not delivered yet. There's not a lot of posters on that page of the website, so we're just but they're coming.
They're natural gas?
Yeah. I would much rather prefer XN40s. You know, the natural gas new Flyers we have? And you know what? They should just go all natural gas. None of this go green bull crap, right? And the batteries are so bad. I've seen the batteries explode. And you know how much acid and how much bad stuff comes out of that if it breaks down? And natural gas operates like glue, eh? It's so much smoother than the electric, in my opinion. And you don't smell it. I can even go beside a Nova when it's cold and you don't smell it like diesel. Well, that's its purpose, right? Even though I do like the roar of the diesel buses, you'll never get me on that one.
Well, maybe they could just do an artificial sound. You know, artificial exhaust sound. That's what the Teslas have.
Oh, and they can go. Man, they're fast. That electric motor is insane. Geez, we're already almost to Brentwood already. So you don't like the 8 key that you're on, you just find it too much?
It's a bit much, yeah.
And you almost have to leave some people behind sometimes.
Yeah, tons of people. But I know the other 8 is right on my name. Because he starts at just at the children's hospital, and he starts at the foothills.
You should let him go in front of you, so...
I don't think it would help, because then I would just catch all the people that he can.
Unless he had an Arctic, then you would let him go in front. That does not make any sense why they don't dispatch an Arctic for that time.
Yeah, they should.
Like if he does a single trip or two, right?
Or even just put another bus in, like at Brentwood. You know, start with one more in Brentwood.
And then the hospital ones. As we get more drivers, though, you'll start to see that.
Yeah, hopefully.
Oh, and you know what? You're probably gonna get a bunch of 8,000s on your 87.
Oh, yeah.
They're not bad, but they're quite gutless.
Yeah. But it's all mostly neighborhood driving, so it's really okay.
It's pardon?
It's mostly neighborhood driving.
Right.
Like you're not on really any big roads. So
Like this one, you have a couple major.
yeah.
So when you got your 75, you thought you were going to get Vic, but they're adding more work for Anderson, as I said, right? Well, if you get this bus and it's snowing on the 82, you should be fine. These are the best buses in the snow. That's the one big compliment I can give them. They handle so well on slippery roads. Now with the Vic Park and Anderson bus, how many Vic Park pieces did you get? Because it was all Vic Park for you back then, pretty much, when Anderson... Oh, are you doing the 20 at all?
No,
Now, if you have a VP bus on the 20, there's lots of high-speed sections. You have fun on that route. The problem is, Vic Park drivers don't get the chance to do it because they don't have any work available, and if there is, it's one key, and they're getting relieved down at 78th Avenue, which doesn't make any sense. So VP drivers, to get back to the garage, it takes them almost 2 hours, or an hour and a half, because they gotta take the 3 all the way to Heritage, or take the 301 downtown. Or how would that work? They would have to get the 24, wouldn't they?
Yeah, get back to the Vic Park.
Yeah. So they would have to take the 3 to Heritage, or take the 301, take the train from downtown to Heritage, take the till up to Riverbend and wait for the 24. So that would be about 2 hours.
You can offer Brentwood?
I'm going to Brentwood too.
Yes, I'm going down there. You take the car away, you move.
Well, I take 53 days.
Huh?
I take 53.
53? Why you moved last week?
Because I moved November 26th day.
I know, I think I didn't get it on the 20th. I talked to Larry.
Okay.
Larry's one that you went to hide. He's out with the party one night.
That's right. It's I actually.
Okay. 13 hours left. Okay. I like your house. Yeah, I know.
You get no time here at all, maybe 30 seconds at most.
Yeah, now we're gonna get real busy.
Right when we were pulling up to the hospital and getting there and stuff, getting to the medical center, it's like, this is gonna be a great ride back, eh? And the 8's never a bad route, it's just busy.
Yeah.
You could be doing the Route 3 when school gets out. I've seen that Arctic come in and it's jam-packed full, and that's something for an Arctic. Well, all the schools at Sandstone and as you go further south. I imagine the university stations are pretty packed now. And yet, we're still running 3-car trains. Soon we're gonna have to go back to 4 cars. For Stampede especially. that I've been riding these a little more, you're right about these. They're not as bouncy as the old ones.
Yeah.
The suspension in the older ones, you can really feel it.
Yeah.
If you want a roller coaster rides, those are the ones. But on the 23 1 week, that's all you were getting because the other driver could not drive these type.
I think that was on the 9, wasn't it?
Right.
Yeah, that was the 9. Yeah. Oh, I didn't like those.
I thought the 9 you did was out of SG.
Well, it was Brentwood to Brentwood.
Oh.
Yeah.
Then again, sometimes you're not waiting at Chinook for very long.
Yeah, you're kind of in and out.
Is the guy you relieved signed on this route?
Yeah, he does something else like later on in the day after he does this.
Okay. So he's not an early morning guy then.
He's quite good though. He gives me like a full report on the bus.
And that's what it should be like, right?
I like that. Some people, they're just like, yep, everything's good, and they just walk off, and it's like, okay.
But then again, you end up having to change off the bus later on
Yeah.
because there's some fluid leak or something.
Well, like that Monday, that first day, he had changed it off because there was no heat, right?
Yeah.
Which is pretty nice. It's like, okay, thanks. I like heat.
Remember that VP20 you did? You driven third gear for hours?
Yeah. I should have just changed it off.
I'm glad I wasn't out that day. I would have been freezing on your bus. And I would have been on you all day, get a change off. But then getting one, I get why you didn't in one way. Getting one from Vic Park is just... Getting one from Vic Park if you're all the way at 78th Avenue is just a nightmare. A couple, I got one nice one right at Stephen Avenue with all the lights.
Yeah. Like, does your camera do pretty good night photography? It looks good?
Yeah, fairly decent.
Yeah.
Day's better though, for sure.
Oh, yeah, of course. Yeah. Oh, here's my guy.
Pardon?
That's the other 8. The other 8 is coming.
Is he starting, right?
Yeah.
So he gets some of the kids as well? To leave North Point.
Well, I think his first time point is here in the hospital, so he hangs back a bit.
They should give him it right at the high school so he can help you out with the kids.
And then he actually goes on a service at North Point.
So it's not even a trip, right?
Yeah, it's basically like half a trip.
Well, I mean, if it's for the kids, wouldn't you think you know, he would be right behind you if it's too busy? If you didn't have him, though, you wouldn't be able to fit everyone on. Right. And they've done that on a Jimmy before. One driver told me he was doing a Stampede Express run, and one supervisor said jam in as many as you can, but he was being extra careful driving because if he ever had to brake, people would go flying. He's like, I never wanted to do that again. He's like, no, I'm not doing it. It's dangerous. Especially if you have a quick bus, too, that's really aggressive on takeoff. What would you say we had on Monday for a load? Yeah. 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 Seated in a full standing row. An hour and a half, I tend to avoid the 12 just because it's too much. Although I can kind of get away with it because it empties out quickly because they're all getting off at after the hill or, you know, just near Somerset. But now the 12 is getting all the university kids as well. George, when he did it before COVID, he was busy for 3-4 hours straight. At 6:30, 7 o'clock, he would get a standing load at Fish Creek because everyone would be coming off the train. The good thing is, even though the heat is set, I'm glad it's not blasting today. You don't need it to be overly warm.
Yeah, that's it. I don't mind that.
Can you set it on these buses or no?
Well, you just hit this button that says auto, and it just does it itself. So if I leave the door open, it'll like crank it up a bit.
But on a day like today, it's not cranking up because... But right when you were dropping me off at North Point, all of a sudden I heard it go up because it was getting colder, right? I know you always like this part, going back to North Point, knowing you're gonna get slammed. You gotta remember, buses were late too because of the snow, right? I imagine. That's not a very long light. Unless this area was snowed in, then you would have to.
Yeah, or if there's like a big accident right here, then we would be like, I'm gonna go around. And I'd be like, great.
Like sometimes George would have to call control. You know that big hill on the 12 after a couple big snowstorms? He's like, I can't make it up. So he's like, I'm gonna have to detour. Because getting up a hill, especially on the old buses, you try and you just barely make it up. What a gorgeous day. It's gotta be about 0 right now. nearly as busy at that stop today. Man, on Monday there must have been 60 people alone. But maybe other buses came before you, eh? Not a lot of buses are behind schedule. So that could have been it too. After the weekend. And you gotta remember it's even busier right now because everyone is scrambling to get Christmas shopping done. My dad always does his early. It's like in December it's not worth it. You're scrambling all the time. The attitude is kind of like, you gotta get this, then you gotta get that. You don't really need it.